Well, hello everybody. Welcome to our Friday demo. I'm so happy you could join me today. We're going to be doing another simple bloom swipe. This time I'm going to spin it out. I've got my spinner set up, and so we're going to see what that looks like. I've also mixed up an extra cell activator. I've got a gold one, so we'll see what happens there. I might use black and gold together. We'll find out how that looks. So it should be a nice little fun demo here today. Hopefully my sound is okay. If you can just give me a thumbs up that you can hear me all right. Hopefully we fixed the little weird sound glitch. But if there's a problem, let me know. So let's get started, and I'll show you what I've got. I'm going to be pouring on top of an old painting. This is actually the waterfall pour we did a couple weeks ago. I don't remember if that was last week or the week before, but it's just like a okay, painting, not that great. It was just an experiment, but I'm not too excited about it. So we're going to use it again and pour on top of it. And this is a 12 by 16. One thing I forgot to do is spritz the back. So I got to get my spray bottle. It's all set up. It's taped out. I never took the tape off. And my big push pins are in the back. I just have to spritz the back. Totally forgot about that. And give it a. So I like to have it. I like to have the canvases quite stiff when we're doing the swipes. We don't want like a floppy canvas. We want a nice, taut, tight canvas. So all right, cool. Okay, thanks, Susan. Let me know if the sound is good. I sound like I'm in a tunnel. Uh-oh, but no static. Okay, well, that's one good thing and another problem. So I'll work on that. Oh my gosh. And let's see here. Just checking and seeing if there's any other comments or questions before we get going. Welcome, everybody. Never did introductions, but hey, Susan and Carla are here. Pat is here. Welcome. And Chris has joined us. Donna is here. So fantastic. Welcome, everybody. And we've got Elsie and Donna again are here. Awesome. And looks like we got Facebook user. I'm guessing that might be Robert. So welcome, everyone. All right, cool. And Jay is here. Awesome. Hey, Jay. So welcome. And Jeanette is here. Fantastic. Welcome, Jeanette. All the way from Greece. That is fantastic. Wow. How awesome is that? And Pat is a little bummed because she's ordering stuff for the bloom, but it's going to take a little while to get here. Well, no fears, Pat. Just we will definitely be doing more bloom things in the future. So, but you can just practice when your materials arrive. No big deal. All right, cool. And awesome. Susan has ordered her Amsterdam and her ink. Very cool. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Cool. And Pamela is here too. Welcome, everyone. So, all right. So let's get started. I've mixed up some colors, or I mixed up a couple colors. I'm going to be using a few of the leftover colors from our last demo, but I've got a couple new ones. So we're going to try, it's kind of a monochromatic swipe. So we're going to give it a shot and use black and gold cell activator with the spinner, and we're going to see what happens. So if you have any questions as we go along, just let me know in the comments and I'll answer them as we get going. So I'm going to flip the camera over here and I'll show you what I've got set up. So here's green painting from last week, I think, but it's okay. It's not great. We're going to just try to make something a little bit better. So I mixed up a whole bunch of this it's an off-white base coat. It's kind of a gray, a very light grayish color. It's all right. I just kind of shot some different things in there just to see what would happen. And it's kind of a cool color. It's not white, so anything that's not stark white, I like a lot more. It's more interesting to me. But we've got a really dark color here, kind of an almost, it's like a Payne's gray and black. I'm probably not going to use a whole lot of this because our cell activator is black, but maybe a little. We've got this kind of blue gray color. This is a Liquitex color I really like a lot. This very light violet color, red violet color. Another darker violet, and I've got some silver right here. I've got some knives, so we can do some swipes. And I got my cell activator over here. So we've got some black. This is black that I mixed up Wednesday, this last Wednesday that we used. And here is brand new gold, which is, I used the rest of my Amsterdam gold. I didn't realize how little I had. So there are 2 parts Amsterdam and then another gold, just a Liquitex gold in here, and then our Liquitex ink. So we got our 2 cell activators. And so let's get started. So I'm going to do our base coat here first. Actually, I didn't show you this, but I have my shield, my little splatter shield down. It just looks so weird in the camera, so I just set it down, just put it in place before we got going. And now let's do our flood coat. So I'm going to just pour on our base. I'm just guessing at this one. And we're going to just tilt it around. So this is our flood coat, aka pillow in the traditional bloom terminology, but we're not using house paint. This is just regular old paint, 3 parts Floetrol, a regular old American Floetrol, and or I should say 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint. It's the easy formula. And there we go. And it's just the regular consistency also. So I like to do the flood coat for the bloom swipe. You could try just spreading it out with your palette knife if you wanted to. I just like to have the nice, it's a little thicker, and I like to have that kind of nice even coat. So I'm just getting these last 2 corners. 1 more to go. I'm going to have to put on just a touch more paint. And I'm going to work that back in the center a little bit, and then pour over the edge. There we go. My flood coats are a little messy, but that's okay. That's how I like to do them. So I'm setting my canvas on top of the of my spinner, my weird spinner. So it's ready to go, and I'll probably be turning it as we continue. So as I'm doing my swipes. Okay. And Carla wants to see the consistency, and I'll try to show it to you. I didn't hook up my 3rd camera because I was only going to do the 2 cameras, but it's just kind of regular, just the slight mound or small mound. It's not super critical, the consistency. So it's pretty much the regular way I do it. I'll try to show it to you with our light purple, so you can kind of, that's bad. So it makes that little bit of a kind of a trace, but there's a slight mound there. So I do add water to almost all my paints. So it would be 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint, and then probably a little water to most of them. So, but it's just kind of the regular consistency that I use almost all the time. But you could make it a little thinner if you wanted to for this technique. Um, that would work fine too. So let's go ahead and pour on some colors. And just thinking about what I want to do. Now you could drizzle colors. You could pour them on. I like to have kind of less color than more color. I'm going to try to stay away from the center. You could pour like actual puddles and do that. I'm going to pour just some thin bands, I think. And you don't need a lot of paint. So, and here's my silver. I'm already probably getting more paint than I need. I'm going to put a little more of the light purple on, I think. But you could pour ribbon if you wanted to. You could pour just puddles in the center. You could do all sorts of things. You could experiment all kinds of ways. With my dark, I'm going to put a little bit of this dark color. I'm going to drizzle it though, so I don't get too much. There we go. So, and let's see. So let's go ahead, and we've got some paint. Let's go ahead and do some swipes, and then we'll spin it out, and we'll see what we want to do next, if anything. So I've got my bigger knife here. So I'm going to pull my gold, my black over. So I'm going to try to do a combo swipe first. So I'm going to take a little bit of gold and just kind of drizzle it on my knife first. And then I'll put the black kind of on top of it. Something like this. Then you can, the cell activator is relatively thin, so you can kind of move it around your knife. Something like that. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So I'm going to just kind of lay it flat in the center. And if you have a spinner, you can actually use the spinner to your advantage and kind of make a cool spinning swipe if you wanted to. I kind of like that. So I have paint on the back. I'm going to wipe that off. And we could reload our palette knife, but I'm going to do one swipe just without any cell activator on it, just to add a little more interest. Plus, the cell activator that I have I can move that around. So that got a little weird, but I kind of like that shape. I like these interesting edges. So you can sometimes get 2 or maybe even 3 swipes out if you wanted to of just the cell activator that's already on there. Now I've got a bunch in here. I could take my smaller knife and kind of carefully, whoop, it got a little too deep there, but pull that through. But it's kind of a happy accident. We got that kind of cool band around the cells. And let's see, maybe I'll take my medium knife. I'll do one more like out this way maybe. And then we'll spin it out and see what happens. So I'll do one of those combos again. I'm going to start with black this time on my knife, and I'll put the gold on top of that. There we go. And I'll just move it around. So we got a little more gold on this one. Okay, and we'll just do the same thing. I'll just pull it out like that. So that looks interesting. I'm going to take my little knife and just do a little swipe here just to kind of move this kind of hard edge. I'll kind of take it into this negative space there. All right. So far, so good. I think that's kind of an interesting start. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little spinning here and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Cool. I have my little stick here that I use it as a brake for my spinner. I kind of stick it in the underneath there, and it stops the spinner, so I don't have to stick my hand under there. It helps a lot. So okay, that's expanding out, kind of cool. Let's do a couple more. All right, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to spin it the opposite direction to maybe move some of these cells, uh, get them back so they're not going to go kind of wonky. But here we go, the other way. Okay. So I quite like that. We could also do a little bit of stretching if we wanted to. We don't have to. I might try a little bit. Let's get this loosened up here. I don't want to do too much though. I want to just gonna just see what's gonna happen. Not much. So maybe I won't do any. It's not wanting to move, and that's okay because we are spinning off some paint and things. So actually, I think that's kind of a cool painting. Now we could try adding something else to it if you wanted to. If we're not quite happy, um, I quite like it the way it is. I might try to just spin this out. I don't love this big edge here. It's a little boring to me. So one thing we could try is I'm going to take, yeah, maybe my medium knife and swipe through here just to break this up, and then we'll do a little more spinning. So, and then I'll also add a little extra dark, which wouldn't hurt either. And so put a little gold on, and I'll put a little black on there. So this is, tricky. We're taking a risk adding more, but that's okay. It's a demo. So I'm going to just start in this center here. And again, I don't want to go off the edge right into that corner. But I kind of like that. Maybe I'm going to pull one maybe out this way just to bring some of that dark and change this hard edge here. So real carefully set my knife in there and then kind of pull it through. Yeah, I kind of like that. And it added a little extra dark, a little more contrast to our painting. So I'm going to go ahead and let's spin it again and see what happens. Okay, let's. Okay, so we changed some things around that kind of blended in there nice. We got some interesting things happening where we added. I don't love. We have this little tiny spot right here. I think I'm going to maybe pull that in there. Yeah, I kind of like it. So I'm going to do maybe one more spin the opposite direction and kind of a gentle one. And there we go. So it changed some things. You got some kind of pointy shooting edges, which are is because of the spinning right here. Those kind of little spikes right here, kind of. It's because the cell activator is a little thinner, and but the spinning is kind of pushing it, is drawing it toward the edges. But I kind of like that actually. It's kind of a very interesting, cool shape. We got a lot of cells and very interesting, a lot of subtle ones. This actually kind of looks like uh, it kind of looks like a pearl pore over here. These very subtle little small cells, but it's pretty cool. And the spinner is very fun to use with this technique. And so yeah, I kind of like that one. And let's see here. So we can turn it around, see what direction we like it best. So I think I'm going to call that one good for our little demo. It's a pretty quick one. These can go very fast, so you could do a whole lot of paintings pretty quickly if you wanted to, um, which is kind of fun. I kind of like it that way. So so anyway, let's see. I'm going to lower my shield back down and flip back over and see if you have any questions. And let's see here. And Susan is asking, is the green coming from the gold, oh, excuse me, and the blue? This green right here, maybe? This was on my spinner board before. So we don't really have any green in this one, in this painting, but there was green kind of residual from the last time we used my spinner board here. So let's see here. Um, so that's kind of how we do our one variation of our simple balloon swipe. So let me shoot back over here. And let me see if you have any questions about this process again, or anything else. I'm happy to answer them. So I'm going to just scroll back up here quick and just see if there were any questions that came in. Not yet. Lots of chatter, which is good. Chit chat, awesome. And let's see. And Carla's got a cool tip. She says she started adding a little blue to her black so she doesn't get green when she adds gold. That's a great tip. Yeah, because a lot of greens have, or I'm sorry, a lot of blacks have some green in them. So yeah, you can kind of counteract that by adding another color, blue, for instance. Good tip, Carla. And Susan is saying, on camera, it looks like there's green in the painting. Um, oh, maybe it does. I don't know. I mean, well, you might be seeing it. Yeah, the camera can play tricks, I guess. But the gold and the black are probably what you're seeing. Looks greenish. It doesn't look super green to me, but yeah, it would be the gold and the black, and would kind of cause that greenish tint, perhaps. And maybe over here a little bit, very subtle light greens. There's actually a small amount of green in my base coat. Um, this is the base coat we use is a very, very, very subtle light grayish green color. So that might be what you're seeing. Yeah, the camera might be enhancing the way that looks. And Chris is saying I sound a little bit echoey and a little bit tinny. Yeah, I think it's time for a new microphone. So, but thanks for that, Chris. I also kind of sound like a robot. So, oh, thanks, Mama Dulas, for saying that. So, from Monique, I sound very robotic. It's probably the mic. So, I'm going to be getting a new one. I've had this one for a while, and they just kind of wear out after a while. So, yeah, new mic time. It's a good idea. Just a second. My robot voice made me cough. So, and excuse me. Oh my gosh. Carla is saying when she was playing around and tilting a swipe, the cells got really wonky. Would thicker paint help with that? Um, actually, I would probably say a little bit thinner paint would help with that. One of the issues with the traditional tilting when we're working with this type of a swipe is our cell activator is thinner than our other paints. So what wants to happen is the cell activator wants to move fast and quickly, and the rest of the paint is moving slower. So I would say if you thinned down your paints a little bit to get them a little bit closer to the consistency of your cell activator, that would help with the tilting. Um, but the other thing that would help a lot is just to spin them out like we did tonight. That keeps them all more even and keeps everything kind of on the same plane, I guess. So they won't get really, really wonky. We didn't get super crazy cells here, but if you wanted to do some tilting just by hand, slightly thinner paint would maybe be better. And I wouldn't say like too thin. We definitely don't want it to be like Dutch pour thin. That's way too thin. You definitely want a small mound, but you could add a little bit more water, make it a little bit thinner, and that will probably help with your tilting to keep from those crazy wonky cells. So good question though, Barbara or Carla. Sorry. And let's see here. Oops. Cool. Thanks, Carla. Elsie says, "What is the mix ratio?" Well, the mixture for all the paints is just the easy formula. So it's 2 parts Floetrol, 1 part paint. The mixture for the cell activator, which is a separate formula, is on your simple Bloom Swipe walkthrough sheet. But I'll tell you what it is right now. It's very easy. It's 3 parts paint. So, and I would recommend using Amsterdam black and white are the most common and they work the best. And those look like this. So Amsterdam standard series, black and white, either one. So that's 3 parts paint, 2 parts water, and then 1 part of the Liquitex acrylic ink, which looks like this stuff. So you can find this at uh, Michael's. I'm sure you can find it at Jerry's Artorama, whatever it might be close to you. Most art stores will have this. You can get it online, of course. Amazon, Blick.com, Jerry'sArtorama.com. It's a pretty common product. So, so that's the formula. But I've written it down for you on your walkthrough PDF that you can get inside the membership. So, good question. And Barbara is here. Hey, Barbara. She's guessing blooms. Yeah, this is a very simple modified version of the bloom. This is a bloom swipe that we're doing, and but you don't need any of the standard bloom supplies. So this is all regular paints mixed with regular old American Floetrol, like we always do. The only thing that is different is a cell activator, which I just talked about. It creates all these very cool cells. And let's see here. But hey, Barbara, thanks for joining us. And Donna has got a question. Why is house paint not the best to use? Well, you can definitely use house paint for the regular bloom. We're just kind of moving into the bloom world very slowly and kind of easily, kind of step by step, because most of the traditional blooms use house paint, but they use very specific types of house paint. We'll eventually get into that, but it's just more stuff to buy. And you have to use 2 different types of house paint, other stuff. So it gets very expensive. We're working with a bunch of new products. This is just an easy way to get some bloom looking cells and use 90% of what you already have. So you could definitely jump into the bloom and use the house paint. We're going to wait with that though and kind of work into that gradually as we go. But that's a good question, Donna. And we've got a question here from Robert, perhaps. I'm guessing. I don't know. Let me know who it is. Can you use any color for a cell activator? You can definitely try any color for a cell activator. I have not tried all of them. Amsterdam paints work the best I've found for cell activators. Not all of them work. I tried like a red violet. That didn't quite work. It didn't work at all, actually. But I've tried the black and the white work great. Gold works good. Copper works good. Silver I've tried and it works pretty good. So if there's and those are kind of the big main colors, but you could definitely try other colors with this particular type of formula and see what happens. And you don't have to use the same colored ink as you would for the paint you want to try. You could use white with like a purple or white with a blue, and it'll change it just a little bit, but you'll get a blue or purple cell activator. So you can kind of mix and match those things. They don't have to be the exact same color, like with the ink and the paint. But that's a good question. And cool. Let's see here. And Barbara's been using a cell activator, and yes, this is a kind of a specialized one. We're not using the Australian Floetrol in this one. It's a different formula, but it works pretty good. It's very similar to the Australian Floetrol version of a cell activator. And Donna is saying, I've heard only the opaque Amsterdams work, and they do work the best. So black white works really well. The opaque colors show up more. So like copper, for instance, from Amsterdam is a semi-transparent or semi opaque, and it tends to get lost in the in your other colors. So you could kind of beef that up with some black. So use a little copper, a little black to kind of give it a little more opacity. But yeah, the opaque colors definitely work the best. And Donna is saying, "Are you in two places here on YouTube?" Yes. So you can watch from Facebook or YouTube. I've got a lot of Facebook people and I've got YouTube people watching. So yeah, we've got people from both places. And then Chris is asking, when your paints have been sitting for a week or so, how do you thin them? I usually just add a small amount of water, and that usually gets them nice and uh, thinned out to the right consistency again. So I choose to add water to them because they're kind of evaporating. And that's how they're getting thicker. Um, so just try some water. If they're really thick and gooey, um, you might want to think twice about using them if they're kind of starting to dry. So if they're too old, I'd recommend not using them. But if they're just getting a little too thick, a little bit of water should bring them right around. Good question, Chris. And Barbara is saying she put some Zinsser wood conditioner in her cell activator, and I've seen that's another way to do it. You can use regular Floetrol and add some Zinsser wood conditioner, and then to get kind of a similar cell activator than that the American, or I'm sorry, that the Australian Floetrol produces. I've tried that with some different types of wood conditioners. Um, yeah, it works okay. I don't love it though, just because of the strong smell. It's pretty potent, and it can kind of give me headaches. But that's a good tip, though, Barbara. Cool. And let's see here. Any other questions that you might have? And I can see you. What is your question? Let me know. I can see you just fine. If this is the same person. So if you have a question, let me know. Let's see here. So just scrolling back up to see if there's any other questions. And let's see. And Monique has got a question. Lay it on me, Monique. And Don was saying that was Jerry. Okay, hey Jerry, our mysterious Facebook user. So cool. Thanks, Donna. And Lily's got a good tip. She says she uses a Floetrol water mix to reconstitute the paint and then strain it, and it works good for her. That's a good tip, Lily. Cool. Great. Okay. And let's see here. And Monique is asking, who is my favorite author? Oh my gosh, that's a tough one. I have a lot of favorite authors. Um, boy, oh boy. I'll have to think about that one for a second. Monique, I have to, um, I'm not quite sure who my favorite one is. And by the way, I haven't read books in a long time. I love novels, but I haven't read any in a long, long time. But I do love to read. So Patrick Rothfuss, I think that's how you say his name. Rothfuss. I like his work a lot. Um, but he's a good author. And let's see here. And Donna's got Stephen King, the great Stephen King, and he's pretty good. I like Stephen King a lot as well. And Robin Hobb for Monique, great author. Yeah, Robin Hobb is awesome. Fantasy, which is great. I like fantasy a lot. And like I think Robert Jordan maybe is one of my favorites. I love that series of books from Robert Jordan, The Wheel of Time. So, um, but there's a lot of good ones. And then Lori is saying, you sound way off, like a tin can. Yeah, I am having microphone issues, so I think I'm going to be getting a new mic. Um, so it's been kind of going in and out. So thanks, Lori. But next time, hopefully, I'll have a brand new mic, and with any luck, I'll sound like James Earl Jones. Wouldn't that be cool? So, all right. And Dan Brown, that's a great author. Cool. Let's see. And Carla, wow, she's a bookworm. That's fantastic. She reads like 3 books a week. God, I envy you, Carla. I wish I had that much time. My gosh. That's awesome. So, but you're probably a fast reader too. So that helps also. But that's fantastic. Okay. So, any other questions before we break here? And I'll show you the painting one more time. Let's take a look at our bloom swipe. And it turned out pretty cool. I kind of like this one. I'll turn it this way. Kind of like it up on the, kind of like the vertical more than the horizontal on this one. Kind of like that one. So, and okay, well, we got a couple more questions that came in. And Donna is saying, have you heard of a tube with different attachments for blowing on your paint? Yes, I've heard of that. Um, I think you can buy it online. I don't know the name of it. That escapes me, but it has some little funny tubes. I haven't tried it. I'd probably just go buy some tubing at Home Depot and make my own. But you can give it a shot. It's kind of like a big flexible straw that you'd have, and you can move the air and kind of some interesting shapes and different directions. So I know several people that use it, and they seem to like it a lot. So you give it a try. And okay, and see, oh, Jerry is here, and Jerry is our mystery Facebook user. So yeah, we could talk about that, Jerry. You have to click on a little button to share your profile with Facebook. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but we'll work on it. But I can definitely see you and all your questions. So, oh, here from Mama Dulash, she says Puffy 2000. Yeah, that's the name of that little flexible straw with the different attachments. Yeah, so if you could be careful if you put that in Google, other things might pop up. But that's the name of that tool if you want to check it out. So, and Lori said she got hers on Etsy. Cool. Thanks, Lori. Um, and Donna says, hey, Donna, she purchased hers on the Puffy, or her Puffy 2000, but it was hard to blow. Okay. Yeah, I have not tried it, so I'm not quite sure how it works. But thanks, Donna. And Carla said she'd probably drop it in the paint. Yeah, I would probably do the same. Oh my gosh. And Judith is here. Hey, Judith. Nice to see you again. Thanks for joining us. And let's see here. And Susan is asking, what do you think about a heat gun versus a torch? And let me flip back here. I prefer, in my opinion, I prefer a torch much more than a heat gun. A torch is much more convenient. Uh, it heats up instantly. It's small and compact. A heat gun takes a while to heat up, and it blows air out, and so it can actually move the paint around, which I don't love. So you run the risk of moving your paint and overheating it also. And then when you turn it off, you have this really hot nozzle that you have to be really careful of. So it works great for resin things. Like a heat gun is almost, um, well, a heat gun works really well for resin, but it works also, but a torch also works for resin. My gosh. But I think, in my opinion, a torch is better uh, for me and more convenient and pretty affordable too. So that's my 2 cents on the torch v heat gun. Hope that helps, Susan. Cool. And Jay says she has to use the heat gun because a torch is a violation. Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, if you can't use it, then you can't use it. So the heat gun is the next best thing. So thanks for sharing that, Jay. Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining me. I don't see any other questions at the moment. So um, I hope you enjoyed our fun little simple bloom swipe, and give it a try. See what you think. If you're waiting for supplies to come in, no big deal. We'll be working on this for all month long. So um, give it a shot when you can. And by the way, if you have the Amsterdam titanium white or black, but you don't have the Liquitex ink, just try mixing those together and using it as a cell activator. You will get cells with it. It will work for you. I find the Liquitex adds a little bit extra oomph to the cell activator, but it can work, those two paints, just on their own. So give them a shot if you can't find that Liquitex. So thanks everybody for joining me. I will see you next week. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.